Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the latest and greatest update for World of Tanks Blitz. Armor and hit points were buffed, penetration was nerfed, and overall this means vehicles like the MAUS, the IS-4, and the E100 are going to be substantially stronger than they were in the past. So what exactly happened? Well, basically, calibrated shells got a whole lot worse for vehicles that fire heat as a premium shell. Right now, it has a 7% pen buff, which it used to be 13%, which means, for example, the IS-4 went from around 384 mils of heat pen to 364. The Kron went from 350 to 332. The Felice only has 339. Essentially, take about 20 millimeters off your average tier 10 heavy, and that's what you're looking at in terms of penetration. The 116 still has very good pen with the single shot, but if you're going to run the auto reloader, you are looking at an abysmal 337 mils of penetration. However, vehicles that fire APCR actually gained in pen. So the MAUS now has 330 mils of APCR premium due to the 1% pen increase. That means that APCR firing tanks actually got a buff, while all heat firing vehicles got a nerf. We also got a buff to vertical stabilizers, now giving you 17% better accuracy during tank movement and turret rotation versus what it used to be, which was like 12%, and Refined Gun actually got a nerf. Not only that, Engine Accelerator now gives you a 6% engine power boost instead of what used to be 5% for heavies and 4% for a lot of other vehicles. Enhanced Armor is now 4% better instead of 3%. Improved Assembly now gives you 5% extra health instead of 4%. And the Consumable Delivery System is also slightly better, going from 12% to now 17% faster consumable cooldowns, which is actually a pretty substantial buff to any vehicle running it. Because, sure, if you're running double consumables, maybe running high-end with 33% better is going to be a substantial increase for you, but getting them back 17% faster applies to all consumables. So if you're running a repair kit or anything along those lines, you'll probably be better off getting them back faster. Also, our Chieftain, unfortunately, tracking that E100 did not allow me to hit that shot, even in the slightest. Well, let's see. We have the VK-72 in the back, and I'm shocked that that hit. While we do have better accuracy with V-stabs now, it doesn't make our base dispersion better, and judging that we hit that shot, I'm just completely in awe that that actually hit. So, let's see. Will the VK-72 make a play? Are they going to sit there? I don't really know what their big brain plan is right now. Looks like they are making a play. We're going to aim it on their lower plate. Wow. You know what? The mouse gun is still a piece of trash, I gotta say. As I mentioned, V-stabs is nice, but it doesn't really change the fact that this tank still has, like, the most horrendous accuracy ever. It is truly horrible. Let's aim it on the side of that Kron. Nice 497, not bad. We have the mouse in front of us, and I'm not really sure what this mouse is doing. They're, interesting play there, mouse. It may have gotten more armor, but not when you play like that. I gotta be real. I don't think your armor's gonna see much of a difference in a maneuver like that there. Alright, well. Aw, dang, my shell missed by an inch. Our Prague kind of threw their health away for that move. Not really sure why you would do that, but let's aim it on the side of the Kron. Not able to hit them just yet, but if they keep going, there you go. Nice 512. We're doing okay, I guess, so far. The enemy team is making some very weird moves, and I'm gonna aim it on the 100, who's showing me his track wheel. Boom, there you go. Nice 506. We get another bounce. Sweet. The armor is definitely working, so I will say that. We've already blocked 1700 damage at this point, and now we're gonna drive behind the grill. We're gonna get a nice HE. 584 juicer into that player. It's pretty sweet. Let's wiggle my vehicle back and forth. Keep on wiggling, keep on wiggling. There you go. Grill bounces me, and he's out of the game. Okay, not bad. Looks like the 100 is going to chill above us still, and I'm going to move over here to the rear of the enemy E4, and boom, there you go. 600 damage into that player. It's a pretty substantial bleed, actually, bringing that E4 down to a one-shot. However, I'm going to ignore the E4 now, and we're going to start shooting at the enemy E100 because this player has some health left. There you go. Nice shot once into the 100. This was a pretty good game, I gotta say. Our armor did its job. The gun is doing its job as well. We're gonna aim it on the 100 again. Nice 523. And are you gonna ram me? Well, doesn't do anything. But either way, that's 4,776 damage, 2,245 blocked. And we can see that, obviously, the armor on the MAUS does seem to be pretty substantial. Even without talking about the calibrated shells changes, the MAUS got a big buff in the fact that it just has more armor. Going from 3% to 4% more effective armor means that now standard rounds for most tier 10s not going to be able to cut through you. That includes grills and most other tanks. And then when you pair that with the fact that all AP rounds lost 2% of their effective pen, yeah, you add those two things together, and basically, like the MAUS, for example, is 265 pen. And the turret cheeks of the MAUS with 4% extra armor are 270, which means that it's basically impossible to cut through a MAUS turret cheek now with standard ammo using any tier 10 heavy. So at this point, I've played quite a few games in the MAUS. I think we're at like 20 games now, which is a lot more than I honestly should be playing in this tank. But I've really wanted to get a feel for the vehicle. And here's what I'll say. It's not as strong as I was hoping it would be, mainly because of the fact the mobility is still a massive hindrance. A lot of the games I've played, I am literally just struggling to deal damage because I've been driving and driving and driving. The enemy team won't go where I'm going, or, you know, the mediums will just overwhelm because they'll have like 5 medium tanks. When you can get a game where there's a lot of heavies, and you can frontline and use your armor, then yeah, I genuinely think the MAUS is very good now. The gun is only meant to be used frontline. If you're using this tank at any more than 100 meters of distance, you're going to be missing every shell. In fact, literally just in the last game, I was shooting at an E5 from about, I don't know, 150 meters away, and my shell didn't even hit him. I fully aimed in, it didn't even hit the tank. Like, the problem with the MAUS is that the gun is horrible, and accuracy actually got worse in the latest update. People think that it got better because V-Stabs is better now, but people are forgetting that Refined Gun was insanely overpowered with its 15% better base dispersion. And now that we don't have access to that anymore, it means that all tanks are basically 15% less accurate, because if you're running V-Stabs, you don't get that buff at all. So you're basically looking at flat worse accuracy than what you previously would have been. And you can see that right there. I mean, did we hit that shot? Yeah, but did you see how large my aiming circle was? Yeah, it's not great. So I will say that the MAUS is definitely not going to be looking at any good accuracy whatsoever. Now, we're going to move up. We got the E75 on the other flank, and this is kind of what I was talking about, where, you know, just there's nobody here. Well, actually, we do have a Kron, so I'm not going to get too mad. Kron bounces me twice, and I'm just going to push at this point. Kron basically nuked his DPM to make that play. And let's see if we can get behind the BZ. There you go. We only did 160 damage, but still pretty good overall. I'm not really sure what this Kron's big brain plan is, but he pens me once. I pen him once. Light him on fire. That's 900 damage into his vehicle. Interesting plays coming from his tank still. We're going to load a high explosive. That was horrible. I was really hoping that HE would pen, and it kind of did nothing. Okay. Let's just keep going for now. Let's drive to the rear. This Kron would rather drive into a 57 heavy than a MAUS, because, you know, the MAUS is such a big, scary tank. But we did ruin the game of the Kron, so I can't get that mad. Our team is really struggling to deal with that player there, though. All right, let's see. Oh, that was never going to hit. I don't love this current situation. Problem is they have the 907 and the ATAC over there. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. Okay, we got the 60 TP in mid. Let's see. I'm going to chill right here, and hopefully the ATAC will poke. Boom, there you go. Nice 468. A decent amount of damage, at least. We have the Foch in mid, and I'm not that worried about the Foch, simply because of the fact we obviously do feature a lot of health, and we are able to cut right through the Foch there. I'm going to move over here, where I'm not going to be able to be penned by the 907. And let's see. What is the Foch's big brain plan? Well, once again, the accuracy is a big letdown on this vehicle. Missing a fairly easy shot. But somehow, we got to bounce on our flat side. I'm not loving this, though, because our teammate... Oh, nice. Okay. I was going to say, our teammates kind of left us here. I know where the ATAC is. They're in base C. So, that's pretty good. We're just going to keep moving. I have so much health that I really don't think that these mediums are going to be able to do anything to me. And judging that those are the only tanks left, I really don't have to worry too much. We're going to head over here. And there's the 907. However, once again, the accuracy of this vehicle, not good. So you're going to struggle over and over and over in that regard. Reload, and boom, there you go. Nice 517 into the A-Tech. What's your big brain plan, huh? Yeah, I don't really think that this player is going to do much to us, guys. I gotta be real. However, I don't think I'm going to do much to them either, because, again, we really, really suffer in the mobility department. Yeah, oh, never mind. I mean, if they do that, I can hit them, so I can't get that mad. Either way, I mean, this was a great example of where the mouse will excel, right? The Kron bounces me, I'm able to push him, take him out of the game, push the BZ-75, take him out of the game, and these mediums can't really do anything to me frontally, so we just get a lot of bounces. Like, in general, the mouse is definitely better. But I just want to clarify that, like, there's a lot of people who probably think this tank's going to be OP as hell, and I don't really think that's the case. It has strengths, but it also has still big weaknesses in terms of the mobility, in terms of how flexible you can really be. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the mouse. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.